It's Capo, baby.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time Recap. I am Mel. Tonight, we're going to recap the Crunch traveling up to Lansing and doing their thing, and also the weekend events around the MLIS. As you can see, the lineup was stacked, but I want you to pay attention to two very important additions to the lineup as Michael Presby and Kevin Allgood Blackwood returned from injury, which was big because we are going to need everybody on deck come playoff time. But that didn't stop anything, as before we blinked, it was 8-0 at halftime. But for the entire game, the El Capitan, Dave Jordan, led the way with the hat trick, while Spraggling, Cesar, Najar, and Bozak had 2 goals apiece. P-Woo, Sveko, Blackwood, and Pedro all get one as well. I get it. It brings it up to 15-3, so there's no telling what could have happened had everybody been in attendance at this game. But this is what you're supposed to do against the expansion team. It's nothing against Lansing. Lansing is a scrappy team. Yes, they did score 3 goals, but let's be honest, it was in garbage time, so it really didn't matter. Regardless of all of that, the Crunch are hitting their stride, and that's a scary thing for everybody behind the Crunch in the standings. Also, while I'm thinking about it, the man of the match, Liam McIntosh, as you can see, he's smiling. He did his thing. When the magician Mario Moose is not there, it's not like there's a drop off, because all 3 of our goal attenders, from Musa to Liam to Santa, all can do their thing, and they are worth every bit of it. This is no telling what the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. As we look at the standings, Cleveland obviously has a 7-1 advantage. They are pretty much in control of their own destiny, as you can see. Amarillo does have 1 loss, but they are not going to catch the Crunch in time for playoffs, as there's like 3 or 4, I believe. Toronto 6-3, but the Crunch have the tiebreaker over the Crusaders, as they have beaten the Crusaders 2-1 in a 3-game series. After that, Omaha is right behind Toronto at 5-3. As speaking of Omaha, we'll take a look at the scores from around the MLIS over the weekend. Amarillo beat Colorado 8-7 Saturday night. The Chicago Mustangs also beat Omaha 10-9 Saturday night. But Omaha did split the Chicago series as they beat Pal Chicago 9-8 in an actual thriller that actually came down to the wire as I watched that game to get the final score. I'm saying all this to say, when playoff time comes, it's going to be a scrap. So if we're looking at the standings, to be honest, the bottom 4 from 6 to 9 are not going to catch anybody in the top 5. Yes, the Chicago Mustangs are 3-4 right now, but it is the Chicago Mustangs. They have a very scrappy team. They are coached well, and they're going to do their thing to try to get back in the playoff picture. Omaha is still Omaha. If you know anything about indoor soccer, you know Omaha has a very good team, and they're going to come to play every game. The Toronto Crusaders have been the surprise in all of this, because nobody expected the Crusaders to be the team that they are right now. Yes, they are sitting in 3rd place, but for a while, they actually were in 1st place, because they have been the only team within the last 2 or 3 years to beat the Crunch at home. So that says a lot about the way the top 4 or 5 teams in the MLIS are stacked. One slip up and it's over. You could drop from 1st to 5th, or 3rd to 2nd, or 2nd to 1st in any way, shape, or form it can go. This is going to go down. I'm not going to say it's going to go down to the wire for the Crunch, but it is going to go down to the wire for the 2 through 5 teams, as we've been informed the Crunch with a win next week, as actually, let's get it right into that. Starting next week, or yeah, this weekend, starting March 1st, excuse me, the Crunch will host Fort Wayne, and then they have a week off in between. So they'll have the week of March 8th off. And then March 15th, they will host Omaha. So their last two home games of the season will be featuring Fort Wayne and Omaha. And I believe Fort Wayne faced the Crunch earlier in the season on the road, as the Crunch went on the road, and the Crunch dominated that game. So the only real test that they will see within the next 2 weeks, maybe 3, is Omaha. I am not banking on Omaha to come in here and just lay down, but I do expect the Crunch to come out on top. This is, again, the Crunch are in control of their own destiny. We've also been told that it is a strong possibility that the Crunch can clinch the first playoff spot essentially this weekend should they beat Fort Wayne. So this is going to be one of those things that, as a Crunch fan, you're hoping that this plays out the way you want, because that would be fantastic to get the last two home games and get 2 wins before you have to go on the road against the dreaded Chicago Mustangs and Pal Chicago, who the Crunch have never faced before. But with Coach Manfoot, I believe the Crunch are up to the challenge. So it's just another test for the Crunch, but I don't think that this is anything that they're not used to. And with that, they'll be hosting the playoffs here at the Wolstein Center April 11th through the 13th. So that, get your tickets now. I'm telling you, it's gonna be something to watch, as the Crunch are, whether you believe it or not, you can still go look this stuff up, the winningest team in Cleveland since 2021. Undefeated season in 2022. 2 championships in 5 years. That's something that you can't sneeze at. So don't be surprised if that 5-star crest turns into a 6-star crest next year. But with that, I'm going to bid you guys adieu, because that is going to do it for the Crunch recap. I am Mel. So I will see you later.
It's Taco Day, baby.